on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it here. No, we had a nice live early. We were talking about the whole, what's Shedeur? Where does he go next? Dylan Gabriel did, I believe, just enough for people to kind of play the dumb game and act like nothing should be changed, and maybe so. But at the end of the day, you also look at the fact that Flacco hasn't played, Pickett hasn't played, and it's like we've been running this Shedeur versus Gabriel as if they got it going on. I mean, I mentioned earlier Cleveland and all their brilliance. When they got Pickett, after you seen Watson was going to play, turn right around and get Flacco. You would think that would be enough. Then go get 2 more quarterbacks. You got to be the dumbest people ever. Like, out of all the things you need, I mean, you whine about you don't have receivers, but then you go and waste picks on all this other stuff, and you trading picks as if you got it going on. As if you don't need nothing else. You get all these quarterbacks, then complain about having too many quarterbacks. Well, you spent the money there. If you wanted to wait to the next year, then you could have did it. You could have stuck with the 2 old quarterbacks you got. One old and one so-called veteran. You know, he ain't been around long, he ain't done much. You could have stuck with that. And maybe you could have got a Dylan Gabriel, but then why would you get him in the 3rd round? It's like, it's just foolishness. It's like nobody was checking on him. It's not like you couldn't have got him in the 5th round and left Shedeur alone. You created this whole foolish situation by the decisions you made to get certain players. Now, you got to figure out how to get yourself out of this heat. It's like you benefit from the fanfare, but at the same time, you act like you don't want it. So here we go. We got quarterbacks seemingly taking shots at each other. Or at least one at another. I mean, because it seemed like it was a unanimous situation. Everybody was on the same page. The veterans knew not to say crap Flacco. He knew to say positive things about Shedeur, as dry as it may be. You don't typically make comments that's kind of like borderline. You just say the cliche mess and get on. You don't sit there and go back and forth with the media trying to, fix it up, because you shouldn't be saying certain stuff. So here we go. Dylan Gabriel say, hey, I'm not an entertainer. Some of y'all are entertainers, but I'm a competitor. And however we spend that 100 different ways. Why is he even mentioning entertainer? He especially just came from up down Oregon where your coach was making those type of comments. He's making all kinds of comments about Colorado's for clicks and all of that. And that's who you just came from. So there's a connection there. You know that's the team that Shedeur came from and you came from, and people gonna make that connection. And you heard him say it before. So when you say that and you didn't really show nothing yet, but that you can be inconsistent, you can throw picks in practice, you really ain't really built in a way where you can just make comments like that, because you really ain't really did nothing. You've been on an injury situation, injury reserve, whatever. And then before that, you just all over the place. After that, you all over the place. Why do you get to make the comments about Shedeur? And why do we play the game as if it couldn't have been about Shedeur? And say, well, Shedeur's not entertaining. Sure he is. Surely that's what they think about him. Surely many people have said that before. And surely he is an entertainer. I mean, he has social media. He actually has music. If anybody's going to be an entertainer, it's Shedeur, because he actually raps. He actually does music. His whole family does. So he is the entertainer that you talking about. Who else is the entertainer? You gonna call a media entertainer? You gonna try to play dumb? Nobody talks about the media as entertainer. Media don't entertain nobody. Media is just someone who talks about people like you. They're not entertainers. Entertainers entertain. Like, that's what it is. I'm a competitor and this entertainer. So, but they was asking you about the situation. So clearly you're not talking about you competing against the media, because they're not on the football field. So that don't play dumb, because we know that's not even in the right context. That's not even relevant to the conversation point. You playing elementary games with people, man. When you try to act like you wasn't shooting at him when they called it back. So you're talking about Shedeur, because at the end of the day, you are already in a situation. People trying to save you. They're trying to protect you. And from the backlash of people who do support Shedeur, and then you go say some dumb stuff like that. Why would you say that? You know that people are already against you some. And some people trying to give you benefit of the doubt. Some people want to see you compete. You ain't did no competing. He been whooping you all camp. Then you turn around and it's like, okay, now you got to match up to what he's doing on the field in the preseason. You really didn't. You completed some passes, but you wasn't putting the ball in the end zone. You wasn't not making turnovers, stuff that he typically doesn't do. He doesn't really turn over the ball. But you can't say that's not what you do because you've been doing it all camp, all summer long. You've been throwing picks. And you don't throw a lot of touchdowns. So we can act like that's not like a characteristic of yours. Like, we see the trackers. You're not putting the ball in the end zone. He's always putting the ball in the end zone. It makes sense that it correlates and it parallels to the game. And it makes sense that you don't because you seem to can't put the ball in the end zone without throwing picks and getting your balls knocked down and throwing the ball at the back of their feet. Why are we playing this game? Shedeur, yeah, he's an entertainer in all ways. That's why people call his name when he come out there. Y'all either calling him a celebrity or an entertainer. But at the end of the day, y'all know that the people want to see Shedeur. Yeah, they want to be entertained. They want to be entertained with touchdowns, not some boring person who can't put the ball in the end zone. They want to be entertained with all the whole that and the showmanship. That's what football is. You can't even watch kids play these days. I mean, think about it. You look on YouTube, you look on a lot of different social media outlets. The kids, they think it's all about showboating. Even my children, especially my one, he think it's all about, that's all he know. Because it's different now. We used to get penalties. You just had to hand that ball off. You couldn't spike, you couldn't do nothing. You do anything, 0.0 seconds, they throwing a flag. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, you can do a whole dance routine, the whole team come out there and everything. And it's like, I don't know what the rules are no more. Like, what's too much? Like, how do you call it on one and not the other? Like, do you get like 30 seconds to perform? Everything is entertainment now. I mean, how they promote the NFL, college, who are you fooling? You are an entertainer. Sports is entertainment. So what are you really trying to say? Your butt don't need to be a face of nobody franchise. You're not an entertainer. Even Tom Brady and all that doing commercials. A lot of these guys are doing commercials. They're getting their endorsements. They're doing all of that. That comes with that. They're selling tickets. They're selling jerseys. They're selling you. What do you mean you're not an entertainer? You sound dumb saying that because at the end of the day, that's exactly the field you're in. Sports is entertainment. Baseball is entertainment. Basketball is entertainment. I mean, a lot of these guys end up doing movies and TV shows. They are entertainers. If you plan on being anything worth something as somebody franchise quarterback, typically you have the opportunities to be the face of the team. And you have the opportunity with that to do a lot of ads and commercials and who knows what. But you say you're not an entertainer. You sound dumb in 2025 to say that. Because you ain't much of an athlete, really. You out there, but you're not dominating. So you talking real big as if you so focused on sports and it's really showing off. The entertainer is outdoing you and y'all entertaining you. And you wonder why you should be on the bench. The entertainer is throwing more yards than you and always has. Nobody even know who you are. You popped up in the Heisman. You did not do anything he did on a level in college, even though you played for how many years? 6, 7 years? You're old as dirt, and you say he's an entertainer, and you're not. You should have been figured out by now that this entertainer has done more than you. And he still entertains, and that's why his value is higher than yours. That's why people want to see him play and not you. They don't know who you are. And you making yourself known by all the wrong things because they already know you as the guy who going against the entertainer. They want to see the entertainer. You're right. But you can't outdo the entertainer. The entertainer doesn't throw interceptions like you. The entertainer has more people watching his games, buying the tickets, buying the jerseys. The entertainer. So how do you be negative towards the entertainer? Clearly more people like him. Why would you say some dumb mess like that? More people like him. So now you trying to go up against the people who like him? Is that what you trying to do? You trying to go up the rough side of the mountain? People trying to give you a shot. And you call Shedeur the entertainer. Shedeur the entertainer. Well, I guess he just might need to just keep on entertaining. It works for him. It's not stopping his performance. And it's going to make people demand to sit you down because The entertainer is what people want. Nobody go to a sports game to be bored, especially in this day and time. You might want to be really, really quiet. Hope somebody tell this young man that, because it's just not going to work out well for him. He don't want to be an entertainer, but he want to be a starting quarterback. His dry self. He's small. He dry. He inconsistent. It's really, you should be the most likable person because you don't have a lot of characteristics that a lot of people will be attracted to. I mean, you have characteristics, but certain traits you got to have to be that guy in the NFL. The standard's been set really high. Skills and entertainment goes hand in hand. You just said you're not that, and we ain't really seen the skills like that. It's not gonna be pretty. But it's just me. Greg said it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all have a good one.